Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Sports.
Atlanta Braves starting pitcher Shelby Miller is off to an unbeaten start in 2015. And tonight he faces some of the National League's biggest sluggers with the Cincinnati Reds coming to town. Tonight it's game one of a four-game set. We get started at Turner Field. It's the Reds and Braves. Game one is next. Well, to paraphrase the great singing cowboy Gene Autry, we're back in the Central again. We get our first look at the Cincinnati Reds out of the National League Central. Game one of a four-game series here in Atlanta, and all the fun starts tonight here on Fox. Chip and Joe with you. Braves and Reds, both 10 and 11. Two clubs, Joe, that are very similar. And in the case of tonight's starting pitching matchup, two outstanding right-handers get after it. For the Braves, Shelby Miller chasing a little Atlanta history tonight.
Yeah, if you compare the two ball clubs, the Reds starting ERA is much better than the Braves starting ERA, with one exception, and that's Shelby Miller. He's been outstanding. He's been the best starting pitcher by far for the Braves so far on the season and is undefeated at 3-0. He's a power guy. He pitched his last start in Philadelphia, went 6 strong innings there, gave up just a couple of runs. He's ready to extend that tonight. He was, as Brian Jordan said in the pregame show, he was economical. He didn't have to really use a lot of pitches to get to the 6th inning. Tonight I expect him to go at least 7. There are his numbers for the year, and his 4 starts with 5 or more innings and 2 runs or less. He's tied for the second longest streak to start his career with the Braves since 1966. Mike Leake, on the other hand, for the Cincinnati Reds, tough kid. I like him. 5'10", 190, bulldog guy. He can also hit. So there's 9 hitters in that lineup tonight against Shelby Miller.
And no starting pitcher likes to hear that, especially a team as powerful as the Cincinnati Reds when they come to town here in Atlanta, Georgia. When we come back, Nick Markakis is enjoying his first season as a Brave, and Braves country is enjoying watching him play. Jen will talk about the marvelous Nick Markakis at the leadoff spot when we return to Atlanta right after this.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
I'm Jen Hildreth at Turner Field, and in talking to the guys in the clubhouse, most of them, as you might imagine, ready to put that drama-filled series with the Washington Nationals behind them. One thing, however, they wouldn't mind carrying over is the hitting. A lot of the Braves' bats got hot in that series, and one who has stayed hot is the Braves' recently anointed leadoff man, Nick Markakis. Whether he's been in the leadoff spot or wherever he's been in the lineup, he has been Mr. Consistency, not just putting the ball in play, but putting it around and over guys and getting on base. And he is our Georgia lottery, hitting the jackpot, hitting .338 for the season overall. He's hit safely in all but 5 games. Leadoff, hey, why not? That on-base percentage, a welcome addition to the Braves. And while Nick's pretty quiet, goes about his business, his teammates have sure noticed just how good his business has been.
And I mean, he's carrying a lot of the team. I mean, he gets, every time he's up there, he puts together a good at bat, and now he's in the leadoff spot and he's getting on base and doing nothing but what a guy like him does. I mean, he's definitely a player that everyone looks up to. I know I do as a rookie, and try to keep picking his brain, learning from him, but it's great to have him in the lineup.
No doubt about that. Jace Peterson, one of those bats that's heated up, hitting .462 over the last 4. Sure hope to see that continue and maybe tack on a few wins as well. The Braves getting ready. Shelby Miller getting ready to go. Christian Bethencourt behind the plate will have the first pitch against the Reds when we come back.
Low price every day.
It is a beautiful night for baseball in Atlanta after some cold and gray and windy weather while Washington was in town. The skies have cleared. It's a perfect night for baseball as we welcome the Cincinnati Reds to town. Their lineup presented by their skipper Brian Price and Academy Sports and Outdoors. Speed at the top, power in the middle, an age-old recipe for a strong offensive ball club. Reds hit a lot of home runs, but they're next to 2 from the bottom in batting average this year. They have to win with good pitching and timely defense, and they've only won 10 of their first 21 ball games this year.
Well, they've got their work cut out for them tonight against Shelby Miller, 24 years old, 6'3", 195 out of Brownwood, Texas. 5-0 over his last 10 starts, a 1.82 ERA. Dating back to last season, the Cardinals and the Braves are 8-1 in his last 9 starts overall. So he's keeping his team close and giving them a chance to win every time out. His 4 keys to pitching success tonight. Well, we mentioned this in our opening comments. It bears repeating. Mike Leake is an excellent hitting pitcher, so he's almost got a DH type lineup to face tonight. And secondly, unearnies. We've been talking about the Braves defense and how it's kind of broken down here over the last couple of weeks. Well, he's only given up 5 runs so far this year, but no unearned runs. So he's keeping his defense sharp. He's getting the opponents to put the ball in play, and they're playing good D behind him.
And this will be a really fun matchup, a challenge for any pitching staff, but kind of like the way the National League played back in the 80s with a speedster like Billy Hamilton leading off. And a big swing and a miss, and we're underway. 71 degrees, wind blowing from left to right at Turner Field. And Hamilton quickly behind 0-2. Now the cornermen can back up, not expecting a bunt from Billy Hamilton, who's hitting .218 for the year. Nub toward third, tough play. Johnson hops, fires, and what a throw! Look at Billy Hatcher, the first base coach. He thought Hamilton would beat it out, but a great play by Chris Johnson kept Hamilton from reaching.
If Chris takes his time to get his right foot planted and throw back, he doesn't get it. But by jumping in the air and getting rid of it quickly and putting something on the throw, got a very fast man and kept him off the sacks. Great way to start the series.
So Hamilton's retired on a ground ball to third. That'll bring up Zach Cozart, the Reds shortstop. This young man has been a terrific defensive player, but it looks, Joe, like at the start of this year his bat has caught up to his glove.
Yeah, he's gotten up to a good start. More recently, 4 for his last 24. So his numbers were actually better than they are right now, but a good sign for him.
4 homers, 10 RBIs, 282 mark for Zach Cozart. And he's down on 3 pitches. 2 up, 2 down. And that's how you want to face Joey Votto. Bases empty whenever possible.
Boy, that was some 96-mile-an-hour gas from Shelby. Let her high. Get after it.
Joey Votto is one of the game's elite hitters. Last year missed 100 games because of injury. And any team without a slugger like this in their lineup is going to suffer. And the Reds certainly did last year. They were 25-42 after the All-Star break, after being within a game and a half of the division lead halfway through the season. Popped Bethencourt's glove at 95 miles an hour, but it was too high.
With Todd Frazier really coming on as a hitter for the Reds, it's given Joey somebody behind him to kind of protect him too. He's always been a guy that walked a lot, but I don't know that he'll get that many walks this year the way Todd Frazier's been swinging.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Votto. He got 7 homers this year. Smacks that one out of play. 1-2 your count.
Tell you what, Shelby is feeling good. It's not all fastballs. He's dropped a couple of hard sliders in there too.
Breaking ball hooked out towards second, and an easy inning and an impressive inning for Shelby Miller. It all started with a marvelous play at the third base bag by Chris Johnson. He got Billy Hamilton and Shelby Miller off to a 1-2-3 start after the top of the first inning. offensive plays. And let's see if Andrelton Simmons can top the effort from Chris Johnson in the top of the first inning later on in tonight's ball game. Mike Leake takes the ball for the Reds. Nick Markakis is ready to lead off for Atlanta in the bottom of the first. Missed off the plate. 1 ball, no strikes.
Mike Leake's 27 years old, 5'10", 190, out of San Diego, and he got to the big leagues with no minor league work.
Up the middle, nice play at second. Throw to first is going to be late. Fine effort by Skip Schumacher, who's filling in for Brandon Phillips, who came down with an illness before the game, and it's an infield hit for Markakis.
Right over the mound. Nice play by Schumacher just to keep it from getting into center field, and almost got an out. Stepped on the bag right on the hop.
So Leake to the stretch for Andrelton Simmons, who's batting .259. And that's cued toward Cozart. Schumacher with the turn, and Simmons is doubled up, 2 out.
Mike Leake on the year, 0-1 with a 3.90 ERA. Mixed results against the Braves record-wise, but an excellent 2.43 ERA in 6 starts. Last year he was 1-1, but one of those starts, and the Braves went 5-2 against the Reds. One of the wins for Cincinnati was behind Mike Leake when he went 6 shutout innings, and he won the game 1-0.
He's facing the hottest hitter for the Braves, Freddie Freeman, who's got 10 hits in his last 17 at bats. And the first 2 pitches well off the mark. And now 3-0.
He's got all the pitches: fastball, cutter, curve, slider, change.
Quick peek at the Braves Academy Sports and Outdoors lineup. Markakis, Simmons, and Freeman. Christian Bethancourt back in the lineup. Jace Peterson swinging the bat well, and Eric Young Jr. will hit 8th. And Freeman takes a 2-out walk. Leake gave him nothing to swing at. He's had good control, just 2 walks in his last 22 2/3 innings.
Yeah, averages about 3 per 9. He does have a complete game already this year, but it was in a losing effort, so it was an 8-inning outing. His last start was against the Cubs. No decision. Went 7 innings in that one. Gave up 3 runs, a walk, and 9 strikeouts.
A strike to Kelly Johnson, who's had a nice homestand. He's got a nice run working. He's 5 for his last 13. And ground ball to second. Schumacher's got it. And Leake has a scoreless first of his own. We go to the second. Frazier, Bruce, and Burt coming up for the Reds. back. Mom, if you're watching, he did say hi, Mom, but we were still in commercial before we got that camera shot. So he's thinking about you.
He's going to have to ice his arm.
Yeah, he is. Here's our CPI Security Braves defensive lineup. Already a great play by Chris Johnson at third base. Kelly Johnson's in left. Eric Young's in center. And Christian Bethencourt in the lineup. With his arm, you hope he can mow down Billy Hamilton tonight.
Not too much going on in this Reds lineup against Shelby Miller in his career against them. Frazier 3 for 14. Jay Bruce on deck, just 1 for 10.
Todd Frazier is the Reds' third baseman. You like this kid, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Always have. You know, he was working hard, playing hard, and doing some good things even when he was kind of working into a semi-platoon role with the Reds. But he's an all-star now.
And I'm sure a very rewarding all-star selection for Todd Frazier last year. Taking nothing away from the fans or major league managers and coaching staffs. But Todd Frazier was voted to the all-star team by his peers. His fellow players selected him for the National League squad last year. One of 3 Reds with a 2020 season at third base. Fly ball hammered towards center. Young is on the run and makes the catch shy of the track.
That'll give you some idea of his power and his bat speed. Getting fooled there and one-handing that ball about 390. And that Cincinnati ballpark tailor-made for him.
29 homers, 20 steals for Todd Frazier last season. But out of luck here in the top of the second inning. This is Jay Bruce. Down year for the two-time All-Star for the Reds. He hit .217. That's not like him. And 18 homers. Bruce had a balky left knee last year. That 18 homer mark snapped a run of 3 consecutive seasons of 30 or better homers for the Reds right fielder. And 3 straight years of 97 RBIs or more.
Boy, good try there on the back doors. Slider just missed. Reds are 6-5 on the road. Braves are 4-5 at home.
High fly ball toward right. Markakis is going back. The wind is blowing. He's at the fence and he'll have just enough room.
How would that have looked in Cincinnati?
It might have landed in Kentucky.
Yeah.
That was the old Billy Williams philosophy. Hit it high and watch it fly. And he nearly poked it out of here.
That's about 20 rows deep at Great American Ballpark.
Another long, loud out. The second of the inning, and that brings up Marlon Byrd. And he pops up the first pitch. On the infield, Freddie Freeman is under it, and he's got it. A 9-pitch frame for Shelby Miller. 6 up, 6 down. Chris Johnson leads off for the Braves next. Cincinnati Reds. And defense behind Mike Leake. Didn't get to that because the game's moving so quickly. Bird, Hamilton, and Bruce in the outfield. Votto and Frazier on the infield corner. Zach Cozart, an excellent glove man. Our first look at Barnhart behind the plate. And Skip Schumacher, as we told you, in for an ailing Phillips. Chris Johnson, Christian Bethancourt, Chase Peterson are coming up.
Tucker Barnhart just got called up a few days ago. Last 4 years he's been selected as the best defensive catcher in the Reds organization. He worked his way up. Got 3 catchers on their roster.
That's inside for Chris. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Mike Leake works as far as he can get to the first base side of the pitching rubber and uses that angle really well against right-handers, trying to get his cutter in on them and then sweeping the slider away from him. There was the cutter. But he's got quality pitches. He's one of those guys that gives you a lot of innings. Last year went 11-13, but had a 3.70 ERA pitching in that ballpark. And 10 games over 500 in his career.
Bouncing ball toward Cozart. He gloves and flips to first in time.
Interesting matchup tonight in that Leake was the first round pick of the Reds back in 2009, and he was the 8th pick in the draft out of Arizona State and went straight to the big leagues. Didn't play in the minor leagues. He was the 8th pick. Shelby Miller was the 19th pick in that same draft by the Cardinals.
Christian Bethancourt, the batter, at 147, and he drives one towards center. Billy Hamilton will make the grab for out number 2. You mentioned Leake's record. A lot of that has to do with the Reds' offense last year. Cincinnati as a team hit .238. That was the 4th lowest team batting average in the history of the club, dating back to 1900. So their pitchers were not supported very well. Votto, of course, was injured. Bruce was injured. And their staff, pitching staff, allowed the fewest hits in the National League, and the rotation had the 3rd best overall earned run average in the National League last year. So pitching wasn't the problem for the Reds, finishing 76 and 86. Ironically enough, in a great hitter's ballpark, it was offensive problems.
Yeah. They suffered a blow in their rotation, though. Homer Bailey's out for the year, it looks like, with Tommy John surgery. That's too bad. But as bad as their bullpen has been, worst in the league, they've still got that hammer down there in the 9th inning, so you don't want to be behind going into the 9th.
Look at Jace Peterson swing the bat. So he has the 2nd Braves hit, and he's got 6 hits in his last 11 at bats.
More line drives, more ground ball base hits, fewer pop-ups, and really squared that one up, gaining more and more confidence. Plus, he's played about 5 days in a row, too. That always helps.
Eric Young Jr., the batter. He's knocked in 5 runs for the Braves. Close play at first.
Can't believe Balkaday Bob didn't call that a balk. I don't think he got that front foot turned around to first base.
Bob's behind the plate tonight. And that's taken low. Ball 1. Schumacher at second gets a friendly bounce. And this game is headed to inning number 3. We'll have a special guest for the Braves dugout. Braves left-hander Alex Wood will join us as we continue scoreless in Atlanta. Johnson hops, fires, and what a throw! Look at Billy Hatcher, the first base coach. He thought Hamilton would beat it out, but a great play by Chris Johnson kept Hamilton from reaching. It was indeed a fine play by Chris Johnson. And that was our Zaxby's indescribably good play.
Great way to start the game.
As we head to the top of the 3rd inning, Skip Schumacher will lead things off, and there's the smiling face of Alex Wood, kind enough to join us for the dugout. What do you say, Woody?
Not much, man. Just watching Shelby go to work.
He's something, isn't he?
He is. He's off to a good start, man.
He knows these Reds very well, facing him all those years with the St. Louis Cardinals, and he missed inside to his former teammate, Skip Schumacher. That's hit hard toward the gap in left center field, and Young's not going to get it. It's going to bounce high off the fence, and Skip Schumacher will double to start the inning. That's the first Cincinnati hit.
Yeah, it's only his 2nd start too, so he's making the most of it after Brandon Phillips was scratched tonight. Hey Alex, when you guys got to spring training, did Shelby fit right in with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, I was able to actually Jake Westbrook, who pitched for the Cardinals for a while. I know him a little bit. He lives just outside of Athens, and he actually put Shelby and I in touch after he got traded over here. And of course, I met him during Rogers pitching camp, and then obviously as soon as we started spring training, you know, he fit right in with everybody, and him and I have become pretty good friends.
This is Tucker Barnhart, runner at second, and he takes a strike. Well, Woody, we're 21 games into the season. I'd like to get your perspective on how you feel things have gone for the club so far.
You know, it's one of those things where I think a bunch of guys have said from the beginning, you know, it's about really not having too many. Obviously, highs are great to have, but not having too many highs or too many lows throughout the course of the season. I think if we can just try and kind of play consistent baseball throughout, I think the rest will kind of take care of itself. You know, we got a great group of guys. We have a lot of fun. A lot of guys are going to go out there and play hard from start to finish. And it's definitely refreshing and nice to know that you got those kind of teammates behind you, especially when you go out there and pitch.
Now, Alex, it's pretty well-known fact that you guys are the only starting staff in baseball that don't have a starter that's gone 7 innings. Does that play on your mind a little bit?
You know, I haven't really thought about it yet.
Alex, you're the only starting staff in baseball.
I haven't really thought about it that much, but you know, to be where we're at right now and things we've done so far, it's definitely a boost of confidence knowing that we haven't, as a unit, kind of hit our stride, so to speak. So it's definitely kind of gives you some confidence from that standpoint. Because I think once we all get clicking at the same time, it could definitely be pretty fun to watch.
That's a good point. That's a real good point. That despite what I just said, you guys are 10-11, and your better days are ahead of you.
Absolutely.
Now, I want you to scout Mike Leake as a hitting pitcher.
He can swing it, that's for sure. He's definitely not someone you want to take lightly. I think he's got several homers in his career, and he definitely knows what he's doing up there with the bat.
He's got 4 of them. He's got 12 multi-hit games. He's got 3 3-hit games. Woody, and 69 lifetime hits.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, to say the least.
Right? I mean, this guy didn't even pitch in the minor leagues.
No, I need to take a note or two, I think.
Maybe you ought to be hitting higher in the lineup.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, that makes this Reds lineup awfully tough to pitch to when he's on the mound, doesn't it? I mean, they're tough enough as it is.
No doubt about it. I think that's why you see the infield in there with him hitting too, and Shelby throwing him cutters in 1-2 count. He's not just grooving them fastballs by him. He knows he's got to bear down and make pitches to that guy, because he can swing the bat a little bit.
Hopefully Shelby can take Billy Hamilton out of the equation too. This is another element of the game that's changing so dramatically too. Back when Joe was playing, every team had a guy like Billy Hamilton that could fly. He's really a rarity in the sport.
Yeah, no doubt. He's a dynamic player. You know, anytime I think his main goal is just to put the ball on the ground and put it in play. Because if he does, that's when things can happen. You know, you pretty much have to make a clean play when he puts the ball in play, and you really got to take care of the baseball, and especially when he gets on base. You know, he's a nightmare on the base pass. But luckily we got a pretty good arm behind the plate tonight. Hopefully he'll end up shutting that down.
Quickly, no balls, 2 strikes.
And this is a good thing too, to get ahead of him in the count, maybe keep him from trying to bunt, especially with 2 out and a runner at third, where he could bunt for a base hit and get that guy in.
Yeah, he can do a lot of things, that's for sure. Bunting is definitely a part of his game, I would say.
Hamilton struck out 117 times last year, but still stole 56 bases.
Yeah, I think he's off to a pretty good start stolen base wise too. I know he's got a bunch already.
Yeah, 13 out of 14.
Yeah, that's pretty good for 21 games in.
No balls, 2 strikes. And out of play. Before this inning gets over with, I got to ask you, where's Todd Gurley going to get drafted, Woody?
We'll see, man. I wish he'd fall to my Panthers at 24, but I don't think that's looking like it. I think the next best thing would be for him to go at 8 to the Atlanta Falcons.
I was going to say, you just made a lot of enemies if you're saying you're a Panther fan here in Atlanta. That's not going to go over well, man. Come on.
No, I'll root for the Falcons as long as they're not playing my Panthers. You know, I can't go away from my hometown team, but it's definitely will be nice if he ends up here in Atlanta. And I think their ticket sales would probably show too from that.
Alex, anything in particular you're working on at this point after 5 starts?
You know, it's been one of those things all spring and the start of the year for me. It's been one of those things where kind of my timing, my mechanics, and waiting for everything to click. And ironically enough, last night, from that standpoint, ironically, from that standpoint, last night was probably the best I felt mechanically wise and stuff wise. So from that standpoint, it was a boost of confidence from me. Obviously, the result wasn't what I wanted last night, but from the standpoint of my stuff and mechanics and timing and feeling like I was commanding all 3, last night was a good one for me from that standpoint. I'm definitely going to be excited to get back out there.
We can't wait for it, Woody. I'm sure better days are ahead. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Appreciate having me, guys.
All right, and go Falcons.
That's right.
He's looking for his first hit of the season. Shelby's 0 for 4. And a quick strike. Thanks again to Alex Wood for joining us a half inning ago. We are really fortunate. This is a great clubhouse. Really good guys. And they've been very kind to us all season long, offering their insights and perspectives on what's going on with the team, where they are, where they've been, where they hope to go.
Alex did a good job. And I think he did it without one sunflower seed being thrown at him.
That might be a major league record. So hopefully some of the other guys over the course of the summer will put on the headsets downstairs as Leake. This is low to Shelby Miller. A ball and 2 strikes. Leake gets his man. That's his first strikeout tonight. We go back to the top of the order and Nick Markakis. Very light schedule in the National League tonight. In fact, one final already. The Cardinals beat the Phillies 9-3 in St. Louis. And the Nationals continue their road trip. They're in New York. That's Steven Strasburg and Jacob deGrom. That game scoreless in the bottom of the 2nd inning at Citi Field. Posted on the happenings with the Nationals, who came to life the last 2 games of this series in Atlanta. Markakis, an infield hit, and that one caught a corner. Even count. Now 2-2. Note in that game with the Phillies, David Buchanan started that ball game. Phillies have lost 14 consecutive games that David has started. And Tim Cooney, out of Collegeville, Pennsylvania, and a Philadelphia native, started for St. Louis.
Did he get the win?
I don't know the answer to that. I'll check and see.
I saw at the beginning of the game he's a left-hander, and actually from that same area that Phil Gosselin's from.
Really?
Malvern, PA.
Something wrong with Leake?
He did not get the win. Well, he got a no decision. How's that? It was a long walk, wasn't it, for Leake off the mound.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Markakis diving grab by Frazier at third. 2 terrific plays at the hot corner already tonight. One by Chris Johnson, that one by Todd Frazier.
Nice play. Good reaction. Even at 1-1 on the third base side.
Andrelton was doubled up in the first. And that's a little low. Every time Andrelton Simmons plays the Reds, you expect something good to happen at the plate. And Andrelton having a good run this year for the Braves. 13 RBIs. He's behind in the count. A ball and 2 strikes. And these are the numbers I was mentioning. The T-Mobile game changer is Andrelton Simmons head-to-head with Cincinnati.
Yeah, the highest average in slugging percentage against any other team in the National League for Andrelton at .352 and .685. And 5 for 11 in his career now against Leake.
That sharply hit foul past third, and Simmons another 2-2 count. Little tapper, leaked to his right, sets and fires. Good play by the pitcher, and he gets the Braves in order in the third inning. Fourth inning, still scoreless.
Hardcore in the gym and lifting weights and on the squat rack and things like that. So it's fun to watch.
The Braves love what they've gotten so far from Shelby Miller. You just heard Chris Johnson say not only for what Shelby does when he's out on the mound, but this guy works. I mean, Braves fans, you gotta love the fact that their teammates are referring to Shelby as a beast and a bulldog and a workhorse. And in Philadelphia, I said this in the pregame show, I saw Shelby running up and down doing stadium steps the day after his start. That's the kind of worker this guy is.
And that hard work shows. This guy's a chiseled man. He is really strong. And he's pitching a beauty tonight. He's allowed one Reds hit. And he's got Cozart, Votto, and Frazier coming up in the fourth. Cozart struck out his first and only time up. Joe mentioned the impressive run that Shelby Miller continues.
Since August of last year, 5th in the National League in ERA, 4th and 5th in those other categories. That sub-1 whip, if you don't know what that means, that's an abbreviation for walks and hits per inning pitched. So if you're not allowing as much as one base runner per inning, then you're doing pretty good.
Three balls, no strikes for Cozart, and Miller lost him on 4 pitches ahead of Joey Votto. That's his first walk of the game. Look, Cardinals needed someone to replace Oscar Taveras in the outfield after his passing this offseason. You wonder now, even as fine a player as Jason Hayward is, with the injury to Adam Wainwright, do the Cardinals in the back of their minds second guess the decision to trade Shelby Miller and Tyrell Jenkins to the Braves?
It certainly depleted their depth, and turns out they needed it.
There's been talk that the Cardinals might have an interest in Cole Hamels, and to your point, do they have enough to go get Cole Hamels from the Phillies? Does anybody apparently have enough to meet Ruben Amaro's asking price for the talented lefty? So far, apparently not. 1-1 to Votto. Bounced out to second in his first at bat tonight. Fly ball hit very hard toward the gap in right center field. That's going to get down. Cozart on his way to third base, and he is going to be stopped.
He was being waved at first by Jim Riggleman, and then a stop sign went up as soon as the ball got to Andrelton Simmons. He was respecting Simmons' arm, and Cozart himself kind of hesitated between first and second base to make sure the ball was going to get down. I thought that was pretty obvious that it was a gapper and a play that he probably should have scored on. Oh, and it was Jace Peterson. It wasn't Andrelton who took the relay. Right there, a late stop sign by Riggleman.
A little surprising.
Yeah.
But let's see if Shelby can take advantage. He's got Frazier up there. Frazier flied out to center. His first time up. Strike.
The other side of it is there's nobody out. So you have second and third with your cleanup hitter up there. Could still turn into a big inning.
This, though, an area where the Reds have struggled mightily this season. We've talked a lot about their power. Talked a lot about their speed. Boy, oh boy, have they had problems in situations like this.
Yeah, their hitting with runners in scoring position is abysmal. Already 0 for 3 tonight, and they came into the game in their last 6 games 4 for their last 40.
One ball, 2 strikes. In some ways, their offense reminds me of the Braves' offense last year.
Yeah.
When they're hitting home runs, they look unbeatable. When they're not, they struggle to score.
But they've got more team speed and use it.
Swing and a miss. Frazier is down on strikes. Big first out. And there's an example of the feast or famine nature of the Reds' attack.
Letter high fastball again. Next to last in their average with runners in scoring position on that 4th line at 203. But you can see power and speed. Top of the league. Average runners in scoring position. Bottom of the league. Starters excellent. Bullpen no. With the exception of Aroldis Chapman.
Line to first. Throw back to second. It's a double play. The Reds played it safe, and Shelby Miller got out of the jam. A strikeout and a double play sends it to the 4th inning scoreless. Doubled up to send it to the home 4th.
Well, this was a rocket that Jay Bruce hit and caught Votto already breaking to third. Easy time of it to double him up, and you think Shelby Miller like that? Second, third, nobody out, no runs.
Leake pitched Freddie Freeman very carefully last time up. A 5-pitch walk. He's behind him here in his second sequence. Fly ball to right. Bruce on the run near the track, and on the track makes the play for the first out.
That's even now at 1 apiece. That would have been a home run in Cincinnati.
Johnson bounced out to second. He's 5 hits away from 1,000. Another bouncing ball. Kicked for a moment. Schumacher had a drop at his shoe tops. 2 outs. Starters aren't wasting any time, nor are the hitters, are they?
No, the hitters are really going after some first pitches, and I understand it, especially against Shelby Miller with that good fastball. You looking for fastball, you get it, you go after it. This guy's a little different, Leake, because he's got such an assortment, and he relies on movement and location. So he's going to throw a 2-seamer with some sink to it. He's going to throw the cutter, so you're not always going to be able to guess right and barrel it up. So there have been a couple of funny swings. EY had a funny swing, so did Simmons his first time up when he hit into that double play. Kelly looked like he got that one off the brand, didn't hit it all that solid.
Three-0 count for Chris. Call a corner. Now Leake has battled back to make it 3-2.
2011, Leake led the Reds in all the pitching Triple Crown categories. Yet that's the only year that he actually spent some time in the minor leagues. Pitched 2 games in Louisville.
He just walked Chris Johnson with 2 outs, his second pass of the game. That'll bring up Christian Bethancourt. Was he hurt that year? Was there?
No. He was just optioned to Louisville when Jose Arredondo came off the disabled list. They had to make room for Arredondo, and they sent him back. But like I said, he was only there for 2 games.
Christian Bethancourt looks at a ball. 1 ball, no strikes.
Two years ago for the Reds, he was 14-7 with a .337.
Runner goes. The pitch, a ball. The throw to second, a strike. And Chris Johnson is out on a headfirst slide into the second base bag. We go to the 5th. Still scoreless.
stuff, low price every day.
It's a beautiful night. Good pitching so far between the Braves' Shelby Miller and the Reds' Mike Leake. What a lift for Shelby last inning. A leadoff walk, then a double. Frazier struck out, then Jay Bruce lined into an inning-ending double play, and that's why we're scoreless. Marlon Byrd starts things off. He's retired on one pitch in his first at bat.
Yeah, was going after that one. Marlins back home. Brandon Phillips is back home.
Marlon had 25 home runs last year for the Phillies. Play foul. He was acquired in a cash deal for minor league pitcher Ben Lively on New Year's Eve.
And real good numbers against his hometown team last couple of years. Everybody was proud of him because he resurrected his career about 3 years ago by going to winter ball and proving to people that he was healthy and could still play this game.
Played college ball right down the road at Georgia Tech. And then at Georgia Perimeter College, where hardcore Hal Golema coached him. In Covington. Powell's watching the game tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes for Marlon Byrd. He's 37 years young now. 2-2. Miller missed, full count.
Letter high heat. No. 2-seamer. Second leadoff walk.
Last 3 innings, the Reds have had the leadoff man aboard. Now Schumacher bats. He doubled to start the Cincinnati third. Schumacher signed through the end of this season. There's a club option for his services next year. And he lines to short. Simmons to his right makes the catch. And the Reds are hitting some rockets that the Braves infield is catching. 1 on, 1 out.
That's at least 3, right? 2 to Freddie, now 1 to Anderson. And then add in that good play by Chris Johnson on the first batter of the ball game. Like I said, no unearned runs behind Shelby Miller this year. The defense has been on their toes.
So Tucker Barnhart will bat with a man at first and the pitcher next. And a little low. I mentioned how good this young man is considered to be defensively. Barnhart was a minor league Gold Glove winner for the Reds 2011. Four straight years rated as the best defensive catcher by Baseball America in the Cincinnati organization. And just fouled that one off his foot.
Down and in. Well, at least it hit the bottom of his foot. Looked like it hit the bottom of his spikes. That would help some.
Joe mentioned the Reds are carrying 3 catchers. Barnhart gets the start tonight. Devin Mesoraco is off to a 2 for 22 start at the plate. But Brian Pena has gotten the most at bats, 42 of them, and he's hitting .310 for the Reds. Happy for Bryant. Never seen him with anything but a smile on his face.
He could always hit too.
Bird at first, 1 out, 2-2 count. And Barnhart didn't get it. So just when you think you've got a bit of relief, you got to remember that's Mike Leake up there.
Especially when he's 0 for 10 on the year. He's in a bad slump for him.
Yeah. You know what I like about him? He wears a hitter's number.
Yeah, he does.
Right? I can't remember the last pitcher that wore number 44. That's a cleanup hitter's number.
Last year he kind of slumped. He only hit 176, but he had 12 hits, 5 doubles, and 2 homers. Drove in 5.
No balls and a strike. So those kinds of numbers, he would have fit right in with the big red machine. It's only a shame that he couldn't have played then before he could have pitched Mike Leake to Bill Plummer.
That would have been perfect.
It was Johnny Bench's backup for a time with the Reds. 1 ball, 1 strike. At the knees, pretty pitch. 1-2. He struck him out. Boy, Shelby Miller is free and easy tonight. 5 strikeouts, still scoreless. Home 5th coming up. Sonoma Research Foundation. The package includes a discounted ticket, a pair of Freeman arm sleeves, and a $5 donation. Sleeves are limited, so secure your tickets today at braves.com/Freeman. Hey, that's Carvis Jones from Fox Sports.
Well, I hope his chop can get some offense going.
And look at this. Of course the Reds are in town.
Yeah.
I wonder if her name is Ariel. Let's check out our AT&T Universe trivia question tonight. Since 2012, who's the only pitcher in the big leagues to allow more hits and more homers than Mike Leake?
Only a few to choose from.
That's why we got the question in the 5th inning instead of the 1st. Eliminates the odds of us gaining ground on the leaderboard, Bethencourt takes outside. 2 balls, no strikes. He was in the batter's box when Chris Johnson was thrown out trying to steal. Was there a play on, you think, there? Did Chris go on his own?
Not with 2 outs. The only play would have been given the steal sign. Either that or he thought he was going to sneak up on him and get a good jump, but they got him back pretty good distance.
Frazier at third. And the flip to first in time. 1 down. Jace Peterson, another hit. He was 5 for 10 against Washington. He's got a second inning single in this series. Nothing in 2. I think this will be one of the fun things to watch all summer long. Guys like Jace Peterson, the kids coming up from the minor leagues to pitch either in rotation or the bullpen. How those guys grow and become solid major league players, if they become solid major league players.
It's always exciting to see young players get to the big leagues and see how they react to being here.
Two balls, 2 strikes. As you know, the Braves have totally restocked their farm system. As this ball's bounced to the right side, Schumacher with the flip to first. And that is the second out of the inning. And the Braves do have a decision to make. Remember, Trevor Cahill was scheduled to start for Atlanta tomorrow night. He pitched out of the bullpen. And Atlanta has not yet announced who their starting pitcher will be for Game 2 of this series against the Cincinnati Reds.
But Freddie Gonzalez said it would be announced after tonight's game. Is that right?
Yes. As Eric Young Jr. bats and bounces one up the middle. Cozart to his left. Another ground ball out and another fast inning. Here we go. 6th inning in Atlanta. 0-0. They're locked up in a scoreless duel. Here are some of the guys waiting in the wings, and these are 4 potential candidates to fill the starting void tomorrow night.
Yeah, you'd figure the guy pitching Friday night is one of those 4 guys. But Whistler pitched last night. Manny Banuelos got off to a good start, but his last 2 starts he's been knocked around a little bit. And Williams Perez pitched Tuesday night. So I'm working right to left here to a guy who's due to pitch Friday night, Mike Voltanovich, who would be his turn. So he, I think, would be the most likely candidate.
Bouncing ball, almost a carbon copy of how the game started.
And we got a new third baseman.
Alberto Callaspo's checked in at third. Wonder if Chris Johnson hurt himself on that slide in at second base.
When he slid, he kind of stuck. He went in head first. He just kind of stuck.
So Callaspo moves off the line with Hamilton down 2 strikes. And that one cut on and missed. Ball got away from Bethancourt, and that's a shame. Hamilton's going to reach first on a swinging strikeout. And now he has a chance to change the game with his legs.
That was a pass ball. That was a backhanded effort on a pitch that he wasn't even trying to frame it. He just kind of chased it away. That hurts.
So now Hamilton 13 out of 14 in steals. Great matchup. Bethancourt's arm versus Hamilton's feet. Line into left. Cozart on the first pitch puts runners at first and second with nobody out.
Well, you get the fast guy on with a pass ball after he'd struck out, and then you got their guy who's been swinging the bat pretty good to follow with a base hit. So they've got a couple of guys and get this inning going again for them. But that's not the way they typically get their runs across. They usually do it with homers.
Joey Votto is grounded out, and he's doubled. And he sprays that one into the seats foul.
And boy, they're going after that first pitch. Runs by way of home runs for the Cincinnati Reds, 56.3%. That's the highest in Major League Baseball. For the Braves, you know how they manufacture runs. They don't hit that many. 22.6%. That's the second lowest. And oddly enough, the Miami Marlins are the lowest.
Strike two.
By comparison tonight, Cincinnati Reds, their lineup tonight, 26 home runs in their lineup tonight. And for the Braves, 8. Two different types of teams.
Boy, a strikeout of Votto would be nice. No balls, 2 strikes. Oh, Simmons was breaking toward the second base bag when Shelby turned that pitch loose. Fortunately, Votto fouled it straight back.
Well, I know it took him out of position when Shelby went to the plate, but you've still got to do all that dancing around back there and let Hamilton see you.
Just missed a corner.
PNC Bank pitch tracks. A little wide.
You mentioned Joey Votto and his very patient approach at the plate. There are some who have said he is too patient.
Yeah.
He's led the league in walks twice. 135 of them 2 years ago. 1-2 count. How did he hit that?
As an excuse me swing. Fastball running in on him, and hello. Well, amazingly, he got wood on it.
One ball, 2 strikes. And a line drive to left. That's a fair ball. Hamilton's going to score. Here comes Cozart. He's going to be stopped at third, and Joey Votto is rewarded with an RBI base hit. Cincinnati has jumped in front 1-0.
As funny as that swing was to fight that pitch off, it gave him a chance to see one more. And that may not have been a strike either, but he had the plate covered.
So a strikeout, passed ball, a single, and an RBI double gives the Reds a 1-run lead for Todd Frazier. He's flied out and struck out. And right back to the screen.
That's 8 out of the last 9 hitters that have swung at the first pitch for the Reds.
Little late, 2-2.
That looked like his cutter, two-seamer.
Todd's a Jersey boy out of Toms River, New Jersey.
Played in the Little League World Series for that great Little League team out of Toms River.
They won it in 1998 against Japan. He went 4 for 4 with a homer. Popped up out of play. He's done some TV work in the Turner Broadcasting Studios just down the street for their playoff coverage. And his walk-up music, very unique in this day and age. Frank Sinatra in Cincinnati. Reds 1, Braves nothing. Still nobody out. Pitch. And Frazier's down on strikes. That's 7 punch-outs for Miller.
And twice he's gotten Frazier on. Here it is, hit at fastballs. Big out there. Let's see if they pitch to Bruce. They did last time when he came up with runners at second and third and 1 out. He lined into a double play.
That might tell you what is on Shelby's mind. Bird waits on deck.
Oh, pretty good pitch there. Breaking ball, bottom of the zone. So that's enough for Bruce. They're going to put him on and set up a double play ball.
So Marlon Bird becomes the man of the hour for the Reds. And Bruce trots to first on the intentional pass. Bird's popped out and he's walked. Once again, the telling stat for the Reds, a .203 team average with runners in scoring position. Let's see how Marlon Bird has fared. He's 2 for 16 this year with men at second or third base.
And he's hit into 2 double plays.
Steve Reich over the outside corner. This is far and away his best fastball of the year, don't you think?
I believe it is. And he's putting it in good spots. He's also, when he's gotten ahead in the count, just challenged him upstairs with it. But not a fastball that's helmet high where nobody's going to offer, but those letter high and neck high fastballs that are hard to lay off.
Always wanted to ask, we had that beautiful shot of the moon earlier. When that pitch is up in the zone, does the baseball look about that big?
You see it out of his hand so well, and it's right on your eye level, so it's on the same plane, so you do get a good look at it. It's just what your hands see and your hands are trying to do. It's kind of hard to put it together.
This is a huge sequence for Shelby Miller. If you get Bird, that's the second out. Then Schumacher. So the Reds have been given an extra out on a pass ball. They've plated that run. Billy Hamilton scored it. Now the 0-2 pitch is driven foul to the right side.
Sped up his bat a little bit there with what looked like a two-seamer at 87 miles an hour. May have been trying to get that pitch off the plate and didn't. Pretty good spear there by Christian on a fastball that was supposed to be inside. He was set up inside. It goes away and way away.
Here comes a 1-2 pitch to Marlon Byrd. Just low. Bethancourt held it there for an extra second.
Boy, I think Marlon feels pretty good about getting away with that one.
So now it's full count.
Shelby tried to quick pitch in there. Came set and real quick to the plate, almost like a slide step. But the pitch wasn't close enough for Marlon to offer.
Got to throw him a strike or it's a 2-run game. He threw him a strike and Bird missed it. 2 out.
I don't know about that, Chip. That may have been another one of those shoulder high fastballs. Might have been ball 4. May have been what made Marlon mad here. Couldn't lay off.
So Marlon Byrd is a big second out. Now Schumacher bats.
That 94, 95 mile an hour fastball up there is a great weapon.
He can get out of this. It'd be some kind of an amazing pitching job. Schumacher, you might recall, began his career with the Cardinals, became the first Redbird since Red Schoendienst to move from the outfield to second base. That happened in 2009. He hit .303 that year for the Cardinals. And this ball's hammered toward left. And what a job by Shelby Miller to limit the damage to 1 run. The Braves, though, gave the Reds an extra out. Billy Hamilton scored it. 1-0 Reds, bottom of the 6th. Braves will wrap up this road trip next week after the Phillies come to town. Then we've got a long trip to Washington, Cincinnati, and then Miami. Tonight, game one between the Braves and the Reds. Mike Leake has been given the game's first run, and he starts off the Atlanta sixth with his mound opponent, Shelby Miller.
Started a little sooner, Shelby. Or try something different like that.
Didn't work. That's the second strikeout for Mike Leake. And Miller frustrated as he makes his way to the Atlanta dugout. Braves fans get to meet former Braves legend Javi Lopez before his bobblehead night May 20th when you buy 2 or more Kroger 4-game plans that include that game against the Tampa Bay Rays. This exclusive pregame VIP meet and greet offer is limited to the first 100 fans, so act now. Go to Braves.com for game today. Nick Markakis has an infield hit. He's also lined out to third.
Yeah, robbed of a double by Todd Frazier last time up.
Goes hard at short. Handles the hop. And a perfect throw to first. 2 out.
Zach Cozart doesn't get the notoriety of an Andrelton Simmons or Brandon Crawford or even a Danny Echeverria, but he can pick it at short. He's a good one. National League blessed with some really fine defensive shortstops.
Talked about those defensive run save stats. Simmons with 96 of them since 2012. Cozart a distant second with 38 defensive run saves. So you're seeing 2 elite glove men match up in this 4-game series. And here's Andrelton. And a shot toward left. Bird's coming on, and he makes the catch. And Leake has another quick and easy 6th inning. 9 pitches, and he leads 1-0. As few as 15 games. Become an A-list member today and get exclusive benefits customized to meet your needs. You'll get the chance to secure your seats in 2015 for SunTrust Park. Go to Braves.com/A-list or call 404-577-9100. Well, Shelby Miller, another chance to go boldly where no man has gone before. See if he can get through 7 innings tonight.
Well, he didn't get much rest either. Long inning last inning, came in, had to hit, be the first batter up there. 28 pitches last inning. And 1, 2, 3 go the Braves. He's right back out there.
Now 2 balls and a strike to Tucker Barnhart. Miller, one of many reasons the Braves are excited about their present and their future as far as their pitching staff is concerned. Between Julio Teheran and Shelby Miller, these 2 kids are 1-2 on the wins list. And more pitching on the way. Got to get that guy going, though. Julio's had a rough start. Full count. Be matched up with Johnny Cueto here on Sunday. That's the featured pitching matchup. I don't know if any matchup could beat this one tonight, the way Leake and Miller have pitched, though.
6 hits total.
Fly ball by Barnhart deep to right field, and that baby is long gone. Tucker Barnhart's 2nd homer, and the homer hitting Reds are at it in Atlanta. That makes it a 2-run game.
Shelby's been to some deep counts several times tonight, and he's won all those battles by challenging everybody with fastballs. Most recently Marlon Byrd. But that high fastball, Barnhart got it.
That's 28 home runs hit by the Cincinnati Reds. Now Mike Leake bats with a 2-run cushion. The Los Angeles Dodgers have hit the most home runs in the National League. They've hit 32 of them. Action begins in the bullpen. Luis Avilan. And now Leake smacks one toward the gap in left center field. Will the park hold that? No, it won't.
Well, you understand when pitchers don't have a very good trot because they don't hit many homers. That's his 5th career homer, and it's not a trot, it's a pretty quick sprint.
That was Mike Leake's first hit of the year. And back-to-back homers for the Reds means it's 3-0 now.
Guess what? Jordan Zimmerman's first hit of the year was last night too, and he drove in 3.
Second time this year the Reds have hit back-to-back homers. And you bring up a good point. Opposing pitchers are making life tough. Bartolo Colon won a game, Zimmerman won a game, and now Leake's hit a home run. Mike Leake's 5 career homers, 2 now have been hit against the Braves. There's a bunt. Miller sniffed it out though and got him by a step. 1 out. By the way, still no word on Chris Johnson as to why he left the ball game after he was thrown out trying to steal back in the Braves' 4th. As soon as we get it, we'll let you know.
Yeah, I just have to speculate that it had to do something with that slide because of the way he didn't slide. He landed on his chest and kind of stuck.
Ozark, a liner to short. They've hit some atom balls tonight. There's the 2nd out. Here's Votto. He drove home the game's first run. That came in the Cincinnati 6th. He's had 2 doubles tonight, giving him 4 of those for the year. And a swing and a miss. Again, Shelby Miller 1 out away from being the first Braves starter to go 7 innings this year.
About 109 pitches right now. His previous high was 100 at Toronto in 6 innings. Excuse me, he's at 110.
Barnhart and Leake with back-to-back homers.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Shelby Miller thought he had Votto struck out again.
I was walking off the field. Mercy.
Shelby Miller is through 7, but 2 homers for the Reds in the inning. One by his mound opponent has made it a 3-run Reds game at the stretch.
Local Ford dealer.
Reds are up 3 as we check out our CPI security game summary.
Too many red caps up there thanks to the last inning, but Shelby Miller, first Brave starter to go at least 7 innings. He struck out 9. And he gave up the back-to-back homers. It put a little separation between Mike Leake and the Braves. Got to go to work offensively.
9 strikeouts, the most by any Brave starter as well this year. So here we go. Let's see if he can get in the Reds bullpen. Leake has shown absolutely no sign of bending tonight. That is the weak point for the Cincinnati club. If you can knock their starters out, get to their middle guys, then you don't have to worry about Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah, you better get to him quick.
Yeah.
Braves don't have a hit since the 2nd inning when Jace Peterson had a 2-out knock.
That's poked foul. Votto had the line covered. And Freeman will face another 0-2 pitch. One and two. Too close to take, and he fought it off.
Yeah, and a 91 fastball down and away too that would have been easy to lay off. That one tipped and caught, and Freeman is down on strikes.
That's how the home seventh starts. Braves first baseman is out number 1.
He's now set down 13 of the last 14. The only interruption between Jace Peterson and now was that walk to Chris Johnson in the 4th.
Steve Reich to Kelly Johnson. When you're in the kind of groove that Mike Leake is in, there is no need to waste any time between pitches. He's got his sign, he's got an idea of what he wants to do, and he is back to work quickly. Nothing the Braves have been able to do tonight has gotten him out of any kind of rhythm.
He lost a game 2-1 to Adam Wainwright and the Cardinals in a game that took about 2 hours and 10 minutes, only because Mike Matheny made 2 pitching changes in relief of Adam Wainwright.
One-two count for Kelly. And bounced foul. Understand Wainwright had his Achilles surgery.
Yeah, it was scheduled for today.
And you know him far better than I do, but I really admire him, admire his competitiveness. I hope he comes back and comes back better than ever. The St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, we all hope that for him.
Popped up into straightaway left. Marlon Byrd gallops in. And he's got that. 2 outs. And Alberto Callaspo is the batter. If you're just joining us, Christian Bethancourt was at the plate in the 4th inning with 2 outs after Chris Johnson walked. He tried to steal second and may have hurt himself.
He got his left hand caught under his body. I don't know if that's, I don't know what the injury is, but you can see how hard he hit the ground.
So if we get word, we'll pass it along. Nothing from the clubhouse as of now. If you've missed Braves Live, you may have missed the Braves did make a transaction before the ball game today. John Cornely was sent back to AAA, and Donnie Veal was brought up. Veal, a left-handed reliever. Luis Avilan was up and throwing a minute ago, but Veal is the lefty. Cody Martin is on the right.
Veal has been in the big leagues quite a bit before, mostly with the Chicago White Sox.
Good try, but Callaspo looked at it outside. Full count. And into the seats to the left. In the air toward Bird. He's coming on. Read it well. And he makes the play. Another 3-up, 3-down inning for Mike Leake. He enjoys a 3-run lead going to the 8th.
Georgia Lottery, and Toyota.
Chip and Joe with you from Atlanta. Our first look at the Cincinnati Reds and Mike Leake. It has not been a pleasant experience for the Braves hitters. He's allowed 2 hits through 7 innings. Shelby Miller gave up back-to-back homers in the 7th. The only 2 earned runs of the 3 he allowed tonight. And he'll give way to Donnie Veal, who makes his Braves debut tonight.
He's been in 100 big league games, all in relief with Pittsburgh and with the White Sox. He was in 10 games with Gwinnett this year, went 2-0. And in his 8 2/3 innings, 5 hits allowed, no earned runs, and 11 strikeouts. So he's been here before.
Frazier, Bruce, and Bird in the 8th for the Reds. Cincinnati with 6 hits, 6 men left on base. And Veal missed up and away. Ball 1. High towering fly ball deep left. And Frazier has joined the homer parade. Three solo homers for Cincinnati tonight. Frazier's 7th makes it a 4-0 lead.
So that would account for 75% of their runs tonight via homer. Second in the league in homers coming in, second in stolen bases. They haven't needed any stolen bases tonight. And a rude welcome for Donnie Veal.
That's the first run he's allowed all year. Earned run, I should say, and a sinking line drive is caught at second by Jace Peterson. Bruce has had tough luck on the line drives tonight. Braves have gotten him twice. He's 0 for 3.
I think he was hooking pretty hard too. Nice catch by Mr. Peterson.
Marlon Byrd strokes one to center, and that'll be played on a hop. Marlon wishes he could have done that back in the 6th inning when the bases were loaded, when he's got a 1-out hit, his first of the series.
Yeah, back when it was 1-0 and he was trying to get some insurance runs in.
Skip Schumacher. One ball, no strikes. Mentioned Schumacher becoming the first Cardinal to move from the outfield to second base since Red Schoendienst. There's the 2-0 pitch. This is Red Schoendienst's 70th season in Major League Baseball in some capacity.
That's awesome.
Cardinals had a big ceremony for him 2 weeks ago.
What's Red's real name?
Albert Fred Schoendienst. Out of Germantown, Illinois. Debuted in the big leagues April 17th, 1945 for the Cardinals against the Cubs at Wrigley Field. So anytime in your major league career you are in the same sentence as Red Schoendienst, that's pretty remarkable.
Yes, it is.
And Schumacher is aboard with a walk from Downey Field. Time for our Toyota key play of the game tonight.
High fastball. First time tonight any of the Reds have been able to connect on that high fastball from Shelby Miller. But Barnhart turned on it and hit it in the bleachers. Now batting right-handed. Shelby pitched a great ball game. But as it stands right now, even just the one run back in the 6th inning, the unearned run, looks like it's going to be enough unless the Braves bats can go to work.
Fouled away by Tucker. Barnhart, strike one. Right through the legs of Bethancourt. And it's an 0-2 count. Crowd tonight in Atlanta, 15,744. Have a major plans for the weekend. Hope you'll consider joining us at Turner Field. 7:35 first pitch tomorrow night. Braves have not yet announced who their starter will be. Anthony DeSclafani will pitch for the Reds. We'll have fireworks after the game. Also have the broadcast for you here on Fox. Saturday will be a Fox Sports 1 telecast. Eric Stoltz and Jason Marquis. And then Joe and I are back for you Sunday with Julio Teheran and Johnny Cueto. Fly ball to right. And Markakis will make the play. Berg will tag and move up to third base. Now there are 2 out.
Yeah, DeSclafani has arguably been their best starting pitcher. Better than Cueto. DeSclafani, a 1.04 ERA. After the Barnhart homer, this fastball was down about knee high to a good hitting pitcher that we've been telling you about tonight. And Mike Leake hit his 5th career homer.
And it took me till now to figure out, it's been bugging me all evening. Who does Mike Leake remind you of physically on the mound?
There's a little bit of Mike Hampton in him. He's not as stocky as Mike Hampton, but the way he goes about his business and
certainly the hitting part.
And the hitting part. Bulldog, good athlete.
I thought because of his stature and the way he wears his socks, I thought Roy Oswalt.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Boy, was he a good pitcher. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Leake. And that's down the line, foul.
Yeah, speaking of Bulldogs.
You know, Henry Aaron doesn't like the result, but he sure is proud of the number this guy's wearing with his work at the plate. Homer last time up. Now fouled straight back for old number 44 for the Cincinnati Reds. And Leake couldn't stop himself, and that will retire the side. Another homer by the Reds, this one by their all-star Todd Frazier. Home 8th coming up, 4-0 Cincy. probable starter.
Well, DeSclafani's going to have his hands full with Tibba because Tibba's got a good fastball, good hook. Here's a look at DeSclafani. We can't show you Tibba right now. DeSclafani, though, came from Miami in the trade for Matt Latos. So all this guy's done is lead the league in ERA. Nice pickup, nice part of the trade.
Guess what happened to Matt Latos last night? Hamstring.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, he's a finely conditioned athlete. I don't know how that could happen.
Yes, he is. And the pitching shortchanged Marlins are without Henderson Alvarez and Matt Latos. Bethancourt pops it up. And look at Leake.
Tell you, man, he's an athlete. Wish Tom Glavine were here. I could actually say it to him into his face.
And mean it.
Yeah.
So Bethancourt's out number one.
You know, when the Reds came to town, they're 10-11, just like the Braves. But their record, I don't want to say it was tainted, but you had to take in consideration that 5 of their 10 wins were against Milwaukee, who's only won 5 games so far on the year. They have beaten up on the Brewers, but they still had lost 4 of their last 6. But they've come in tonight, got a great pitching performance, and have done what they do best, and that's hit long balls.
Isn't that what's so great about this game, though? You have the math, the matchups, you have the computer-generated stats, all that stuff. At the end of the day, the great beauty of baseball is, number one, as we've said so many times, no 2 games are ever alike. But on any given day, any team can beat anybody else. Sharply hit. Nice pickup, Votto. Leake led perfectly to the bag. Good coordination. Fine play. 2 out.
Well, they're major league players. They're here for a reason. They can do real good things, too.
He already has a complete game. He's bidding for a second tonight.
Right. I think in terms of the National League Central, everybody kind of overlooked the Reds. Right? Everybody's just almost always concede things to the St. Louis Cardinals, and there's good reason for that because they're always in the postseason. But everybody thought that the Cubs might actually make a run this year, and they're playing better baseball. And of course, the Pirates, after what they've done the last 2 years. So everybody just kind of glossed over the Reds, and chance to get to 500 tonight.
Young serves one toward left. Bird makes the catch. Mike Leake is pitching a beauty tonight. 8 shutout innings, and he's homered. 4-0 your score. Little chance of answering the trivia, so this one will be played under protest by the booth. However, contractually we're obligated to report the AT&T Universe trivia questions. Since 2012, who's the only big league pitcher with more hits and more homers than Mike Leake.
I say this with all due respect.
Yep.
And to a guy who pitched pretty darn good baseball for the Braves last year, Aaron Harang.
Oh, that's a great guess. I am, as usual, clueless, so I'll follow your I'll follow your lead and see
Yeah,
it
you
is.
had nobody else to pick from.
Nope.
Yeah, we were all over that.
Yeah, give us 100 guesses, we wouldn't have gotten
No.
Jeremy Guthrie for the Royals.
In protest, I would never even have guessed anyone in the other league.
Right. That's almost unfair. So Ian Thomas is on to pitch. Here's his 4th outing. He's got the top of the order. And Billy Hamilton will turn around and hit right-handed. And pop back toward the radio booth. And out of play.
You saw the 3 in the walk column for Ian Thomas. That 3 needs to stay there for about his next 6 or 8 outings. Don't add to it.
No, that's been a real concern for the Braves relievers as Hamilton drives one deep toward the gap. This ball's got a chance. That one's going to go. The Cincinnati Reds have hit 4 solo homers in the last 3 innings.
Man, right-handed, he put a charge in it, didn't he? They're hitting like they're hitting in Great American Ballpark.
So 31 homers now for the Reds as a team. 4 solo shots tonight. Hamilton is not just a ping hitter. He had a number of homers last season too. In fact, Billy Hamilton hit 6 of them. That's his 2nd in the first month. Back to your point about the walks. You're right. The Braves bullpen a .452 earned run average. Coming into play tonight in almost 72 innings, they've walked 38 men. That's a lot.
Say that again.
In roughly 72 innings, the Braves relievers have walked 38 men.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's the bad news. The good news is, of the 40 inherited runners the relief corps seen, only 4 of them have scored.
Yeah, that's dynamite.
But they're putting too many of their own guys on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And tonight, 2 homers and a walk. Allowed by Veal and now Ian Thomas. And a strike to Zach Cozart.
Talked about the Reds pen being the highest in the National League. And the Braves 3rd highest.
Cozart to short. Simmons has it and gets his man for the first out. Joey Votto, former MVP, cornerstone of the Reds franchise. They've signed him through 2023.
And because of that long contract, that's where some of that criticism came in, that he was walking too much. That if he earned that kind of contract, he did it by swinging the bat, not by drawing bases on balls.
You know, it's funny how history repeats itself. Did they say the same thing to Adam Dunn when he was a Red? I mean, he hit 40 home runs, but he'd also walk a lot.
Yeah, but you know what? He struck out a lot.
He did.
He'd strike out 200 times a year, so he was swinging anyway.
Yeah. He swung at that one.
Yes, he did.
He's had a couple of un-Joey Votto-like swings tonight.
How about that swing there where he fought that ball off from Shelby that there's no way he could have gotten the bat to it, but did, and then lines a double on the next pitch. That was crazy.
There's a strike. Well, Rob Butcher is the Reds media relations director. He's one of the best in the business, and their media guide. They have an amazing stat on Joey Votto. Through the first 8 seasons of their big league careers, only 19 players in the history of the game have had a .310 or better batting average, 163 homers, 553 RBIs, and an on-base plus slugging of .950 or higher. And this guy's one of them. And the names that are on the list, I'll just give you a few of them. Lou Gehrig, Hack Wilson, Jimmy Fox, Mel Ott, Johnny Mize, Joe DiMaggio, Mantle, Williams, Willie Mays.
That's good company.
So you can see why Votto's been given the deal that he's been given. He has earned it. And he's the second out, 2 down.
Well, I didn't say he didn't earn it. I
know
no,
I'm not suggesting you did.
I know he earned it, but what I'm saying is the criticism since the contract, and you got to factor in some injuries in there too, a series of them, but that they wanted him to be more aggressive at the plate.
Maybe I should have said, and again, I want to be clear, I'm not suggesting in any way, shape, or form that Votto hasn't earned it. Maybe I should have said he's earned to swing the bat the way he wants to swing the bat with those kinds of numbers. Here's Frazier, and back to the screen foul.
There are a lot of times when the Braves are playing the Reds, I don't mind him walking at all rather than swing,
especially in that park.
Yeah.
And we will be going to Cincinnati on our next road trip. In fact, we'll be done with the Reds by mid-May. 4 here, 3 there, and then we'll wish them a fond farewell.
Yeah, the Braves were 5-2 against them last year and won all 3 games played here.
No balls, 2 strikes. And down goes Frazier.
You're just waiting all night for that.
A big fight's coming up this week. Been waiting all year. Homer to start the inning. And now we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Last call for Atlanta, down 5-zip. Game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widgets, and more every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. What's a pitch tracking widget? Anybody seen that thing?
Yeah, it looks a lot like a ratchet.
Now, did Gretchen count that ridiculous trivia question in the truck column?
Yeah, she did.
That's embarrassing.
Hey, I'm happy though. Your name's on the board.
I'm not.
You've made advances.
Yeah. After that question, that might change as soon as tomorrow night, as we get set for the bottom of the 9th inning. Look, Brian Price knows his team far better than I am. A little surprised he's not going to let Leake try to get the complete game.
He was right. Let's see, he was at 97 pitches, I believe. Which is not many going into the 9th inning, but Tony Cingrani's out there to finish it up. Low 90s fastball with a slider and occasional change. He's in his 6th game. 5 walks for him in 6 1/3 innings.
Phil Gosselin's going to pinch hit for Ian Thomas. The Reds hit 4 homers tonight.
Mike Leake finished the night retiring the last 12 in a row and 17 in the last 18. And by the way, the report we have on Chris Johnson is a left hand injury, but still being evaluated. Don't know the severity.
You saw the replay and called it immediately. It looked like he slid over the top of that hand. So that's not good news. 1 ball, 1 strike for Phil Gosselin. You want to stay tuned for Braves Live tonight. We'll always, as always, recap tonight's ball game. Brian Jordan and Jerome Jurinovich will be standing by on our studio set as Gosselin hits one down the right field line and fair. He's going to try for 2. Bruce's throw is strong but off target, and that's the first Braves hit since the 2nd inning. Now the Braves bench players have had a terrific run here in the first month.
Nice piece of hitting there to slap that one right between Votto and the bag. Fastball up. And boy, you can't hesitate on Jay Bruce with that good arm he has. Worked out for Phil there. If you're going to go, you better go.
Lefty lefty for Markakis here. Nick is 1 for 3 tonight. That's up and in. Stay tuned for Braves Live. The Braves will announce after the game who's starting tomorrow. Don't know who that is yet. Nick will take a 4-game hitting streak into his matchup with Anthony DeSclafani tomorrow.
Sclafani.
Did I say Sclafani? Woody said DeSclafani. Yeah, it's in my head. I'm sorry.
Woody's
my bad. Anthony, I'm sorry.
He's too influential.
Anthony DeSclafani. I apologize. 3 balls, no strikes.
Reds have a Roldis Chipman warming up just in case.
I don't want to see him either.
Nope.
Or pronounce his name either. There's a strike. 3-1. Nats are getting healthy in New York. They're up 5-2 now in the 7th inning. Cardinals beat the Phillies 9-3. The other action in the big leagues is in the junior circuit.
Dan Uggla did not play tonight.
Really?
Yeah, Escobar was in there. And had a couple of hits and 3 at-bats and scored a couple of runs last I heard.
We said at the start of the series the Nats were much better than their record indicated. They may be on their way to a 3rd consecutive win.
Yeah, I think they got their fuse lit here. They're about to go.
3-2. And Markakis walks. So things are getting interesting in Atlanta now. You've got the 2, 3, 4 hitters due. Markakis aboard, 1st and 2nd. There's nobody out. And Andrelton Simmons is coming to the plate.
They've got 2 pitching coaches, kind of like the San Diego Padres with Bud Black, Darren Balsley. Here it's Jeff Pico and Brian Price, their manager. So if one misses something, the other one probably catches it. There's the skipper.
Andrelton is 0 for 3. Double play, a comeback at a leak, and then a fly ball to left. Wow. Strike 1.
Andrelton trying to duck it. Not a bad idea. Trying to figure out a way to get on himself. Make him throw you a strike.
Just missed the inside corner. Good try. And a good eye. 1-2 now. Even count. Here's where playing the Reds from the Braves standpoint can be so very difficult when you're trying to come back in the 9th inning. When you think about the bench players that the Braves might employ against Chapman should he come in, you know you're not going to pinch hit for Freddie Freeman, but he's a left-handed hitter. You've started Bethancourt. You got your hottest hitter, A.J. Pierzynski, left-handed hitter. Got Johnny Gomes. That's an option. Bouncing ball to second. Might be another double play. And it is. So Simba's hitting to 2 double plays tonight. Gosselin's at third. And another lefty-lefty matchup for Freddie Freeman, who will try to, at the very least, spoil the shutout and keep the game alive. Freddie's 0 for 2 with a walk. His string of 4 consecutive multi-hit games will come to an end. But he'll try to salvage his line with a 2-out hit. If Freddie can reach, Johnny Gomes would hit for Kelly Johnson. Down the left field line, base hit. That spoils the shutout. And now Freeman on his way to second. He's got a double, and the Braves are on the board. It's a 5-1 game. 10th RBI for Freeman.
He kind of did that earlier tonight against Mike Leake on a pitch down and away. He spoiled a good fastball, just kind of reached out and fouled it off. And here he just uses his hands. Same thing, but he had a better result. Poked it to left.
Johnny Gomes was a Cincinnati Red.
That's right.
2009, 10, and 11. And they really liked him there. 2009, he had 20 homers for the Reds in 98 games. 18 homers the following year, hit 266. And then 2011, split time with the Reds and the Nationals. Combined for 14 home runs there. And he was off stride, 0-2.
I'm guessing one more guy reaches, you're probably going to see Chapman. Boy, Cingrani really telegraphs that off-speed pitch. Slows his delivery down, slows his arm action down. It's apparent from up here. I don't know if it is as much at the plate.
Deuce is wild for Johnny Gomes. Fought it off. Good battle here.
Cingrani's 94 fastball only gives you a hint of what would be to come if that other guy comes in.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Gomes pops it up. Frazier at third is underneath, and this one belongs to the Reds. They beat the Braves 5-1. Cincinnati hits 4 solo homers, and Shelby Miller, first Brave to take a game into the 7th inning, suffers his first defeat in 2015. Cincinnati wins game 1 of the set, 5-1 your final score. Back to recap it from Atlanta after this.